Walker is our featured speaker tonight. What you may not know is that Kenny is actually the second highest scorer at the University of Kentucky. Over 2,080 points scored in his 4 years. He was also the All-American 2 years, and he was All-SEC all 4 years. He's also the man that outraced a racehorse for on a 100-yard dash. But most importantly, he's my neighbor, and he takes excellent care of his yard. So what more can I ask for? I'd like to introduce Kenny Walker.
Larry, I'm going to have to get you to travel around with me. I love this introduction. Not too many people know that about that racehorse. 1986, I was drafted by the New York Knicks, and I was in the Catskills in New York. And initially, one of my teammates was supposed to race against this horse, and he came up lame, and they said, well, let's put the rookie out there. So I don't know if it was a setup. But anyway, the horse was named Pugwash that I beat, 1986. So it's nice to have that honor as well as all the other basketball accolades. But it's an honor to be here today, and appreciate you guys, having me out and allowing me an opportunity to come here and spread the things that I'm doing throughout the community, but also spread the word of UK basketball and being a part of that UK effect and that whole experience. It's been 25 years, believe it or not, since I left UK, so it's been a while, but it's been a great ride, for me. For you all who are not familiar with my career, I'm going to just brief you a little bit where I came from and how I got to this point. I'm from a little small town, Roberta, Georgia, which is an hour and a half south of Atlanta, 25 miles west of Macon. Joe B. Hall came down in 1982. And somehow, some way, he discovered me in this little town that's only got about 950 people. So I guess I was pretty good, for them to have to come down and to discover me. But I give him and Leonard Hamilton a lot of credit for bringing me in, developing my talents. Larry just, read some of my accolades. I still can't believe I was 4-time Player of the Year at in the SEC the whole time I was here. 2-time All-American. And there's only one guy that scored more points, well, technically it's 2, if I want to be fair to the ladies, because Valerie Steele is technically the all-time leading scorer at UK. And for me, I fall number 2 in men's basketball, but number 3 overall. So 2,080 points. And the way that these kids are leaving school early might be records that stay for a long, long time. But obviously, I'm proud of my accomplishments at the University of Kentucky. And because of my accomplishments and the things that I've done in the community since I left UK is probably the reason why I'm here today. And again, I want to thank Larry for inviting me out. He's got some unique ideas for me, and Kenny Walker Promotions is pretty much what I'm here to talk about today. I'm involved in a lot of different things here in Kentucky. You guys probably hear me on the radio a little bit, 590 WVLK, breaking down the games with my co-host, Larry the Legend Glover for 590 WVLK. Been doing that now for about, I guess, 13 years now, so the years are going by pretty fast. And believe it or not, it's a lot of fun, especially when they win the championship like they did this year. We had a couple tough years in there about 2 or 3 years ago when we had some guy named Billy Gillespie that was in here. Kind of turned into the Jerry Springer show for more so than basketball. But we got through that, and now we're in a situation, obviously, with John Calipari. He's doing a great job as the coach here at the University of Kentucky. I'm just like you guys. I marvel at the job that he does with one-year guys. And I wish that we could keep these guys around a little bit longer. But obviously, he's bringing in some very talented kids. And when you got guys that are going to go in the top 10 in the draft, I'm not saying that they got to go, but if you're going to be drafted and the rules are like they are, I understand why the kids are going. So let's not get mad at John Calipari. Let's try to hope that they change the rules in the future where it will make it a little bit better for the guys who leave school early, that they're a little bit more ready for the NBA. For me, I know that they're ready basketball-wise. I mean, Anthony Davis is a great ball player. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is a great ball player. But are they ready to handle the other things that come along with life and that lifestyle and handling all of the money? I'm proud that Coach Calipari allows guys like myself and Sam Bowie, Kyle Macy, we're still close to the program, and we still have some type of, I guess, input, what goes on with these kids, because we've been there and done that. So we're grateful that we're still mentors and role models and allowed to be able to do things like that. So for me, I'm happy because when they won the championship, a part of me won the championship, because I spent 4 years trying to do what a lot of these guys got done in 1 year. And it's very difficult to win a championship, people. We had some very good teams. I often wondered if Sam Bowie never broke his leg at Kentucky, probably could have won a championship. If we would have played a little bit better in the original Dream game down against Louisville in 1982 at Knoxville, maybe would have won a championship that year. If we would have shot a little bit better in the second half against Georgetown in 1984, for those of you all been watching, 9.1%, it could have had another championship. But we went to 1 Final Four, 2 Elite Eights, and 1 Sweet 16. We got close every year, but we couldn't knock down that door. So I have the utmost respect for this young team, the egos, personalities to be able to do what they've done. And if they keep their nose clean, they could be here like I am 25, 30 years later, being an ambassador for the University of Kentucky and doing good things in the community and throughout the state. One last thing that I want to touch on here before I open it up for questions here. I know a bunch of you guys, probably all UK fans, and probably want to ask me something about UK, but the main reason why I'm here today, and one of my pet projects, is Kentucky sports history. I was on WVLK this morning with Lee Cruz talking a little bit about my literacy program, and basically what we do with this program, we're trying to get kids to read more. Literacy is a big problem in the state of Kentucky, throughout the South, in my home state, Alabama, Mississippi, and now we're in the computer era. It's hard to get kids to physically pick up a book to read. And one way that we've been able to do this with Kentucky sports history, we put what we call a University of Kentucky basketball yearbook that documents the basketball team accomplishments on an annual basis. And when school opens up in the fall, we put these books in high school, middle school library in every county in the state. And kids can check out these books to do book reports and improve their reading skill. Everybody loves UK basketball, especially boys and kids in school. So it's one way that we get them to physically pick up a book to read. And my job is to travel throughout the state to generate money and funds for this program. So I have worked with businesses from Pikeville to Paducah for like the last 10, 11 years doing this program, and the response has been great. So I have to give Larry a lot of credit. I mean, I do things quietly, and I think things like this, you need to get out and talk about them a little bit more. And we feel like by coming to places like this, here today, for me to get the word out and talk on TV like I did this morning, it makes people more aware of what I'm doing and how I'm working with kids and people in the community. And I use this to network to do a lot of other things. When you play basketball in the state of Kentucky and when you're really good at it, you can be a legend for a long, long, long time. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish. And I get a chance to meet a lot of people. I get a chance to network with a lot of businesses. So as we finish up today and you guys, leave, if you got a business card or whatever that I can probably grab from you before you leave, I don't mind taking pictures and signing autographs, before you guys leave. But if I can network with you and maybe help your business, maybe you guys can help me in return of reaching kids and doing some good things in the communities throughout the state of Kentucky. So with that, I know that we got a lot of Wildcat fans here. As you can see, I love to talk about a lot of different things. quite sure that you folks probably maybe have one or two questions that you might want to ask, whether it's about my literacy program or if it's about the UK basketball Wildcats, what they've done this year or what they're going to do in the future. I'll be more than glad to answer a few questions right now. So if you got a question or something you want to ask, feel free to fire away. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because what I'm trying to do, I got a bunch of guys here, are all former graduates at the University of Kentucky, and they're trying to make this the state polo. It's called Stolo, S-T-O-L-O. And you can go to stolo.com and read up about what they're trying to do. They're all guys that graduated from University of Kentucky. And they're talking about products that are made in America and trying to sell these shirts and make these the official polo. So they have me and I think Darius Miller, who has been spokesperson, for them and on Facebook and doing different things throughout the community. So I'm just trying to help some guys bring some attention to a company and just went. Plus, I think it's pretty cool, pretty stylish shirt too. So go to stolo.com. Pick up your shirt. If you want to wear the shirts of the Wildcats, I should say, go pick up one of your shirts. They got them in all colors, and the unique thing about this company, they do them for different states. So if you're at Georgia, if you're in the state of Georgia, you get the Georgia logo, and you can get them in different colors. So you can design your own shirt, your own scheme, so it's no limitations to what you can do. That's a pretty good question. Thank you. That's a very good question, and I enjoy answering that question. And it's actually many different directions that you can go in, but I'm going to try to explain it to you the easiest way that I possibly can. The one and done came about when so many kids were leaving high school to go to the NBA. I think LeBron James was the last high school guy to go directly to the NBA. It became a problem for the NBA because so many guys obviously are not ready to jump from high school. Since 1973, I think, when Darryl Dawkins, Moses Malone, and a guy named Bill Willoughby first did it in 1973, it wasn't done again until 1996 when Kevin Garnett did it. So once Kevin Garnett opened up that Pandora's box, every high school kid felt like, hey, I'll go straight to the NBA. Well, the NBA was very uncomfortable taking guys from out of high school, so they came up with this great idea and said, hey, we make them go to school for 1 year. Maybe if they get in college, they'll stay over there for a while, but it will give us a way to evaluate these kids for at least 1 year and check their backgrounds. So from a business standpoint, the NBA got exactly what they wanted, but nobody knew at that time it would affect college the way that it did. And the NBA has tried to ignore it the last couple years, but I think they now are aware that it is a problem. Right before the lockout, ended, they did put on the table, the owners and David Stern put on the table a 2-year, 20-year deal that is obviously better than what we have right now. And I think that you're going to ultimately get that because the NBA has been really criticized for just sitting around and not doing anything. They didn't have to do anything because, again, they got what they wanted. But I think they've been receiving so much pressure because guys are ready. Anthony Davis is ready basketball-wise, but is he ready to deal with a $10 million contract, that lifestyle, going in and out of the big cities and dealing with the things that entertainers and mature people have to deal with? I don't care how old you are and how much money you make. You give anybody that amount of money and they only got to practice and play a game 2 or 3 hours a day, probably a bad combination. So what I would like to see the younger guys, when they do go, get a good support group around them. Make sure you got a good agent, good financial advisor, and people that's going to be brutally honest and protect you from people who are trying to steal, invest, and get their hooks into you, because obviously they don't have the maturity to deal with that. But I think just everything that goes along with that lifestyle, you just got to be more prepared and more ready to go. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years or so, I think that you will see the 2-year, 20-year rule go through. And it will be a little bit better, but technically I think baseball is closer to getting it right than everybody else. Baseball says if you're good enough to go right out of high school, they let you go. But if you go to college, you commit for 3 years as opposed to 2. And I feel like any kid at any school, if you go to school for 3 years, you do what you're supposed to do, even if you make a bad decision to go play pro basketball, it doesn't work out. Now you're only 12, 15, 18 hours from getting your degree. Got a safety net for the ones that are quite not ready to help them out just in case they make a bad decision. But I do think that we're going to get to that, pretty soon. And obviously if we get to that, then if we're Kentucky fans, imagine if we could have Davis and Kid Gilchrist and Teague and these guys for 2 years instead of 1. We can catch UCLA in championships a little bit quicker if we can get it over to them. So keep our fingers crossed, and let's hope that it does happen. Yep. That's a good question. Good question. Hey, that's a good question. And I love basketball. Of course, I pull for all of the Kentucky guys. Hated to see Rondo not get there. But Nazir Muhammad, I guess I kind of pull for him since he's a Kentucky guy. But part of me actually has a little compassion for LeBron James, believe it or not. I think he made a colossal mistake when he went to Miami and promised not 1, not 2, but multiple championships before he won the first one. And for whatever reason, a bunch of fans have turned on him. So he's kind of a villain now. So I kind of feel sorry for the guy. Would like to see him win one, but I'm going to stick with the Kentucky guys, Nazir Muhammad. And plus, I think the Thunder just got a better team. Miami's a little banged up right now with injuries. I don't know if Dwayne Wade is 100%. Chris Bosh has been injured, and then Kevin Durant. I mean, what a young superstar in the NBA. So I'm just hoping for at least 6 games. If I can get 7 games, I wouldn't care who win. I'd just be happy, because once the NBA is over, basketball is over for a while here in Kentucky, and I'm not big on baseball. So I want as many basketball games as I possibly can. Yes. That's a good question. You guys are fun. I should come talk to you all the time. Great questions. Bitter emotions about it because, I was a part of that series when it was probably at its best. We all hate Bobby Knight. And, anytime that you can beat Indiana, and I played Indiana 5 times in my career. Once in the NCAA tournament, and, of course, the 4 other time was regular season game, but that's when we were playing the home and home. And boy, that was a tough place to play up there. But I had the winning edge on Bobby Knight. I beat him 3 times compared to their 2 times. And it's a series that I hate to see end because it's been a great rivalry. But it hasn't been a great rivalry in the last 25 years. I think the last 25 times that we played, Indiana's probably won maybe 6 or 7 times. So it's not a rivalry when one team dominates like we have. So I think the home and home meant more to Indiana because it gives them the best chance to win. With Calipari, it ain't about that. I think with him it's about making more money, trying to get more of our fans in to see a game. And if we play on neutral sites, we're going to get more fans on a neutral site. Both teams are going to raise more money. And then you're going to play in a dome. All of the NCAA championship games are played in dome. So you're getting your team ready for the big stage. So for Kentucky, it's about money. It's about expanding that fan base and all of that. But for Indiana, they know that their best chance is to play home and home. Kentucky doesn't want to do that right now. So my guess is they'll take about 2 years off, and then they'll get it back together, and they'll probably play again. Right here. Dwayne Casey? Dwayne Casey is, he's more of an NBA guy now, I guess, than he is. I guess, a college guy. He's been in the NBA for so long right now. We are talking about Dwayne Casey, the coach in the Toronto Raptors. I guess he just completed his first year there. Of course, when you're trying to get a head coaching position, sometimes you can't pick and choose where you go. I wish for Dwayne's sake that he can pick somebody like the Los Angeles Lakers or Boston Celtics where he had a little bit more stability. He coached the Minnesota Timberwolves a couple years ago. That wasn't good. And then, of course, now he's with Toronto. You got to win to be able to keep these jobs. Sometimes when you're trying to be a head coach for the first time, you'll take any job just to get out there to try to make it happen. Let's hope that he can make it happen because he's a great guy. And it's a shame, everything that happened, with him and how it ended at UK, because I personally do not think that he was the guy to blame for all that. Everything was kind of pinned on him to a certain extent. But he's done a great job in the NBA, and I have no doubt in my mind if they be patient with him in Toronto, he can be a good head coach. Anybody else? Well, I tell you what, folks, I appreciate again the opportunity. And hey, those were really good questions. But I've gotten pretty good at especially the one about the one and dones. I've been studying that one for a while. So, but let's hope that they do change the rules. And even if they don't, the future with UK basketball and Coach Calipari, what he's doing here, is going to be great. And it makes it very easy for a guy like myself to come to places like this to talk about the UK effect, how has it affected my life, what I'm doing right now, and where we're moving to in the future. So again, I appreciate you folks for having me down today. Again, if you got a card or something that you could drop off to me at the end, and maybe I'll be knocking on your door here over the next few months here, and maybe we can partner up on some things to help each other out. But appreciate you guys having me down, and good luck to each and every one of you. Thank you.